So the long and winding road to unsupported begins now, as the Chromecast is actually no longer sold in the Google Store in the US and some other global regions. What does that mean for the future of Google TV on cheap dongles? Is it over? Well, how about we get into it in this video. So I'm as sad about the Chromecast as probably you are. I'm probably more sad that you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Go on, it's free and we'll keep you supported with content, and hopefully Google will do the same with the Chromecast. So here's the deal. The Chromecast with Google TV is no longer officially being sold by Google directly, and you may find hardware online because there has been a bit of a fire sale over the past 6 to 7 months, and that is because of the Google TV streamer. It's the only first-party streaming device now being sold directly by Google. Basically, the Chromecast is fully, and I mean fully, discontinued. There's likely not going to be a Chromecast, well, ever at this point, at least in name. And that's over 12 years of hardware done. Bye-bye, see you later. However, I'm kind of sad because I think the Chromecast was the first piece of Google smart home tech that I ever owned, and I'm sure many of you ever owned. If we look at raw hardware numbers, it's also by far and away the most successful of Google hardware, at least first-party hardware, by some margin. And Google claims that they've sold over 100 million units since its launch in 2013. And let's be honest, we're probably not going to see 100 million Google Pixels sold for a while. Well, maybe not ever. It actually makes the removal of the Chromecast with Google TV from official storefronts, at least Google storefronts that is, all the more painful, mostly because the TV streamer is double the price, and in some cases more than double the price, and not even available as widely, especially around the globe. Plus, I have to say I think the dongle design is a better fit for lots of TV systems out there. Here's the good news though. Google is still supporting the little Android TV dongle, at least for now, and hopefully into the future. Updates have been rolling out pretty regularly ever since it was originally released in 2020, and then they had that re-release of the HD version. No word has been shared on how long the device will continue to stay updated though, but we're hoping it's a decent chunk of time, as there's no real reason that your streaming TV dongle should stop getting updates when it's practically built for the same platform as the latest hardware, aka the Google TV streamer. It's also worth noting that a lot of the Gemini-powered features from that newer hardware are now available on the Chromecast, especially the Google Chromecast. Chromecast with Google TV? Terrible name, but there is at least a possibility of more updates coming despite ending the lineup. Android 14 is the big update that's expected to come to the 4K and HD versions of the Chromecast. Google has said that it will continue to support all existing Chromecast devices with ongoing updates. So although that is a little bit murky, there is good reason to believe that, as the 2018 Chromecast still gets the odd patch or update from time to time. So I would expect many other cast-enabled devices to get updates. As you probably have noted before, if you have a Home Hub, a Nest Mini and more, you'll have received updates as well quietly without you even noticing. To be honest, I think it's one of Google's biggest software success stories to date, given the very real concerns over killing products and services over the last, or at least the last few years. I also need to clear up that Google has officially stopped selling Chromecasts. There are no doubt, as I said at the start of this video, other retailers will stock or will have supply available. So if you do want a dongle for your TV, now is the time to go out and pick one up if you haven't done so already and you want one of these, or you've wanted one for a while. Stock has been dwindling for a while after Google's original confirmation that they would keep it on sale until inventory runs out. And according to Google, that is now, as it's no longer available directly from them. Of course, the bigger question is, what does the future hold for a dongle like Google TV device? Are we done with this now from a first-party perspective? Honestly, I think there's more than enough room for another Chromecast, despite the fact that we no longer have one in an active lineup. Let me be first to say that the Google TV streamer is a great piece of hardware. It's a great product in its own right. It could be a little bit more powerful. In fact, it probably should have a higher powered version available to buy, or at least it should have one at least in future. It's fine for most people. I don't think it's a perfect solution for everybody. The Chromecast, I think, was a better fit in most places, and I use the 2020 Chromecast 4K every single day for hours a day on my office TV. I can honestly say that it has vastly surpassed my expectations. It's the best streaming dongle I've ever owned, and I didn't imagine that given there were problems with that device at launch. I can't yet say the same about the Google TV streamer because, well, the Nvidia Shield TV exists, and I think that is just one of, if not the best streaming system ever made, in my opinion. I feel like we need a sub $60 or £60 streaming option from Google. Even just a storage and chip bump over the Chromecast with Google TV probably would be enough for most people, but we just have no idea what the plan is at this point in time. Personally, I have a feeling that Google might drop something into that market gap. There is, as I say, more than enough room in the lineup to have another replacement, especially as there's greater integration with Google Home and your smart home systems ongoing with the Google TV streamer. It seems a bit like an oversight as well to cede ground to the Amazon Fire Stick, which has, on last count, double the sales figure of the Chromecast with 200 million global sales since launch, but Amazon has released at least 8 models since being introduced way back in 2014, which is outstripped Google's own release cycle. I'm just basically thinking surely at this point we'll get a follow-up, because Amazon is effectively now defining the cheap Android TV dongle with that Fire Stick, which I don't think is a good thing in my book. Now we start to factor in that there are lots of other options too, like the Roku and some other no-name OEMs that you can go out and pick up from sites like Amazon. You could point to the Apple TV as well as a rival, but there is no cheaper dongle-style equivalent. But Google practically created this market as well, so it's weird that there is no follow-up when the Chromecast has been more or less synonymous with TV streaming for such a long time, going on 13 years at this point. Officially, Google believes that people are just no longer wanting to, or at least wanting cheap streaming devices, as even the most affordable versions of new TVs offer that basic streaming functionality. The new streaming box marked an end to the brand effectively. And the thing is, I have to say, most smart TVs are just not that nice to use. The apps don't get updated enough, the UI starts to get bogged down, and the UI is sometimes confusing and frustrating, and updates for these devices and TVs are just few and far between. Plus, on top of that, most TV manufacturers stop supporting their screens after just a few years because they've just pushed a newer update out there. At least with an external device handling the streaming and that kind of stuff, you can upgrade that itself and keep using your TV without any issues. At the end of the day, it's just pushing a picture. You can't always say the same about most smart TVs out there, and firmware updates on TVs themselves can effectively just ruin the experience by removing features or adding stuff in that you don't need, and honestly, I'd rather not bother doing that. In fact, I don't have any of my own OLED LG TVs connected to the internet for that specific reason, and I prefer external hardware to handle the streaming for me. And also, to add to that, a smaller out-of-the-sight dongle is just better for lots of home entertainment systems than a box that sits on a TV counter or something like that. You just stick that integrated device into the back of your TV and it's good to go. It's out of sight, it's out of mind, it's foolproof, plus the processor in these is usually better than most cheap TVs specifically, because they're pretty lackluster and usually below the power of these streaming devices, so you're getting a twofold benefit there. For me, I have to say, just come on Google, at least give us a replacement. Even just a more dongle-like TV streamer I think would do, something slightly smaller. Even if you omit the thread option, I think it would be really, really popular. The Chromecast has a special place in my heart because it's easily accessible, it's cheap, it runs reliably, at least in my experience, and it's a shame to say goodbye to this particular hardware line, especially as it feels like it has a lot more to give. So yes, it's the end of an era, at least officially. No more Chromecast releases, but at least we're going to have some level of support for an unspecified, at this point in time, few years to come. Are you sad? Are you happy? Are you disappointed? Or are you stocking up on the device, given some sites are still, or at least still have it for sale? Let me know down in the comment sections below, but until next time, thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.